Konnichiwa. My name's Tully. I'm going to Japan, and you're coming with me. Okay guys, day 3. So this is our second to last day in Osaka. We have one more sort of half day left. And today we're going to go to Sumiyoshi Taisha, then Osaka Castle, the Osaka History Museum, and if we have time, the Osaka Museum of Living and History. And then, if we have even more time, we're going to go hike up to Mino Waterfall in Mino Park in northern Osaka. Let's get out the door.
Breakfast, salmon onigiri.
Good, but not as good as the chicken.
Something you'll never see in the US. Tobacco vending machine.
From an adjacent vending machine, I got this Kirin Mets Arginine V energy drink. No caffeine in this one, but it's got arginine and vitamin C.
So the Kirin Mets Arginine V tastes very different than what I thought it would. It tastes sour, and I thought it would be. It's carbonated, which I like, but it doesn't taste like fruit. It tastes like molasses. Yeah, if you've ever had kvass, it kind of tastes like that. Not bad though, actually.
To get to Sumiyoshi Taisha, I took the Yotsubashi line because it was closest to the hotel. You get off at Tamare Station, and to get to the shrine, you walk through this Shotengai. It was only about 9 a.m., so most shops weren't open yet. After you finish walking through the Shotengai, you turn left, walk about another block, and then the entrance to Sumiyoshi Taisha is right there. We're entering Sumiyoshi Taisha at the bottom middle of this map, which is west. It's one of Japan's oldest Shinto shrines, founded in 211 AD by the Empress Jingu before the introduction of Buddhism to Japan. As such, it has a unique architectural style distinguished by relatively straight-edged roofs, called Sumiyoshi Zukuri, which is free of influence from the rest of Asia. It's dedicated to 3 sea gods, the Sumiyoshi Sanjin, and it stood watch over Osaka Bay for over 1800 years, protecting the port and all the people who passed through it, such as fishermen, shippers, and travelers. This iconic red bridge is called Sorihashi, and it leads to the main shrine grounds called the Honden. If you have mobility issues, be careful crossing it. It is very steep. If it looks like too much for you, there are 2 much flatter bridges that cross the pond nearby. We cross the bridge and now stand in front of the Daiichi Hongu, or First Wing, which enshrines Sokotsutsu no O no Mikoto, the deity of the deepest depths of the sea. I took a close-up of these QR codes. They lead to Sumiyoshi Taisha's website and have a lot of good information. A lot of the shrine's spiritual significance went over my head, so I began strolling the beautifully manicured grounds. Sumiyoshi Taisha is one of the most visited shrines in Japan. 2 million people come here just in the beginning of January for Hatsumode, the traditional first shrine visit of the year. Now we're climbing back over the Sorihashi Bridge to the main grounds. And just like that, you're back in the normal world. Life is back to as busy as it ever was. So now we're going to head back north to Osaka Castle. We're going to take a trolley to a train to the castle. The trolley station is very small. This small. And that car behind me That is not parked. There is a road behind you with cars going 25, 30 miles an hour the whole time. You do feel a little bit exposed standing here. But it's cool. I hadn't seen something like this before. If you like the video so far, give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot. The grounds of Osaka Castle are more like a big park than anything else. I saw a ton of Japanese people there just hanging out, with no intention to actually go in and see the castle. There are benches, tables, at least one convenience store, and a whole bunch of vending machines.
So Aquarius, I was gonna get the lemon flavor, but I got the regular by accident. It's gently sweet, slightly citrusy, kinda lemony. Tastes almost exactly like Pocari Sweat. I would guess that's their main competitor. Not bad.
So here we go into the castle. Look at the size of these doors. Sure, the lady in the pink hat is only 4'6" or 4'8", but there are at least 3 of her tall. The castle is located in the middle of a big plaza. To the right, off screen, is another building that has restaurants and gift shops. To be honest, the line to buy tickets was kinda long. I waited for 20 to 30 minutes, though to be fair I didn't reach the castle grounds until about 11 a.m. It was about 11:30 when I got my ticket, then I headed inside. Can you imagine being an enemy soldier and trying to attack this? Here are a few pictures I took inside. Photography of most of the exhibits is not allowed. There are even whole floors that you're not allowed to photograph on. Kind of a bummer, but I will tell you the exhibits are very cool. There's armor, there's dioramas, there's diagrams, there's videos, there's history. I think they want you to come to the castle and see what's inside for yourself instead of just watching some dude's vlog and saying, huh, that was cool. And one thing that I didn't expect was that Osaka Castle, what you see has been rebuilt, I knew that going in, but inside it's much more of a castle-shaped museum than a real castle that's been converted into a museum, like Himeji Castle, where we're going to in 3 days, on day 7 of the vacation. So if you like cool old castles, stay tuned, and that episode is coming out soon. And here's the view from the top. Here are a few more photos I took from the outside. There's also a boat you can ride that goes around the castle's moat. It's called the Gozabune. At the start of the cruise, they give you a little bit of info.
すいません、I can speak Japanese only ね。ごめんなさいね。はい、人面石の前に日本語で総理ね、ごめんなさいね。人面石の前に右側の石垣ね、一番上、小さくね、スモール、スクエアカット、上、一番上ね、掘られてるところ。
So here's the human face-shaped rock. If you say so. I guess it sort of looks like a human face. Oh well, nothing wrong with a little bit of marketing. Alright, this is the view your ticket is paying for. There's no path on this side of the castle, so going on the boat tour is the only way you can see this side of Osaka Castle. The boatman only speaks a few words of English, but there is an English narration that plays over speakers. And here's the castle from a few more angles. The boat tour was cool, but now I'm hungry. After I got off the boat, I got lunch here at Rikyu, in the auxiliary building on the plaza. Nearer to the camera are takoyaki, octopus balls. I didn't like these very much. The pancakes further from the camera are okonomiyaki, Chinese scallion and cabbage pancake. This was really good. The place is counter-serve, and once they call your number, you're free to put on whatever seasonings that you want. I put on seaweed powder, katsuobushi or smoked bonito flakes, and shichimi togarashi or 7 spice powder. After lunch, I left Osaka Castle. I had originally planned to go to the Osaka History Museum, but it closes at 5 and it was already after 3. Instead, I headed towards Dotonbori, Osaka's biggest shopping and eating district. My first stop there was Hozenji Temple. This place is cool because it's a tiny little temple right in the middle of a busy area. And it's not some tourist trap showpiece either. There were Japanese people praying just like normal. After Hozenji, I walked the 50 or so feet to Kamigata Ukiyo-e Museum. Ukiyo-e is an art style that originated in Edo, Japan, medieval Japan, and was commonly used to advertise kabuki plays. I first learned about it as a kid, don't remember how, but I thought it was really cool and it stuck with me. Since then I've always had kind of a Latin interest in it, but never really had a chance to indulge in it that much. It wasn't a huge museum, but there were quite a few more exhibits than I'm showing here, and I really recommend going if this looks like something you'd be interested in. After the museum, I walked over to Shinsaibashi Suji, which is the shopping street that people think of when they think Dotonbori. This is the famous Dotonbori Glico Man sign. Since 1935, it's been a popular landmark in Osaka, and it and the bridge I'm standing on are a popular meeting place in Dotonbori. Buskers, musicians, and selfie artists often perform here. I started walking north and came across this cool used clothes store. A lot of the clothes were either very formal, very youth-oriented, or totally normal American clothes, so I passed on buying anything. I was surprised to see this piece in Japan. To my untrained eye, it's a German military jacket that has a camouflage pattern called Lecktarn, which is cool, but it doesn't match the area where I live, and it wasn't cheap, so I passed on this too. Overall, I wasn't very impressed with Shinsaibashi. Super crowded, and there were a lot of big brands that you could buy in any big city in the world. But I did find some cool gacha figurines. This Dick Bruna rabbit and this shark. I bought a lot of gachapon toys in Japan, so many that I've got a separate video showing all of them coming up soon.
Okay guys, so I had to stop back at the hotel, had a little bit of a rest, and we're going to a ramen place called Moeyo Mensuke, recommended to me by a buddy of mine. He says it's pretty good. Rating's good as well on Google, so I think it ought to be pretty good.
On the way, I took my favorite photo of the vacation so far. I like how the bridge's column gives a sense of symmetry, and then the sunset separates the photo into an orange and a blue half. And on the blue side, you have the buildings lit up orange by the sun for a nice contrast. Ironically, I would top this photo less than 2 minutes later with this one. I like how the sunlit buildings carve a V-shape out of the blue sky. I also like how even though the sky is still bright, it's dark enough in most of the image that the lights on the cars and buildings are prominent, drawing the eye down to the lower half of the image.
Ironically, it's right by the train station we used the other day.
Here we are at Moeyo Mensuke. It's worth noting that Google Maps doesn't quite get the location right, so here's what it looks like. Judging by the timestamps on the photos, I arrived at 6:21 and was eating by 6:44. I thought I'd have to wait a lot longer than 23 minutes. You order using this cool vending machine type thing. You put your money in, press the buttons for what you want. For every button you press, it'll spit out a ticket. Hand those tickets to the hostess. She gives them to the kitchen, and then they prepare your order. I give this a 10 out of 10 on presentation. The smell of this was so rich and meaty. And here's the scallop from Hokkaido. I actually don't like scallops too much, but my mom does, so I had to taste it for her. Not the biggest fan of scallops, but this one was about the best I ever had.
Wow, that was some pretty good ramen. It was soba, actually, buckwheat noodles. Yeah, the broth was a lot lighter than I thought. I think it was seafood flavored, which would kind of explain that. And I had vegetable flavor, it was rich, the meat was good. There were 2 types of meat in there. The darker one was really kind of smoked flavored, and the other was kind of like, regular ham. Beer was very good as well. Kind of Heineken-like. I'm getting the feeling that a lot of the Japanese beers are kind of Heineken, Czech, German type ordeals. Really nice. Go to Moeyo Mensuke.
Ramen or soba is a pretty common weeknight meal for a Japanese salaryman. That was my theme for this evening's dinner and drinks. So after we finished up at Moeyo Mensuke in Fukushima, we walked about 20 minutes east to Izakaya Matsuya in the Kita ward near Umeda, closer to the big station. Because where are you going to go next with your work buddies after dinner? The pub, an izakaya.
Okay guys, so we're going to Izakaya Matsuya. I actually didn't like the feel of Dotonbori that much. Very commercial. If you wanted a down-home drink, I'd probably actually go to Shinsaibashi instead, near Sankaku. I'm sure there's a lot of great places in Dotonbori, but I really only have one night left here. And so I was kind of looking near Moeyo Mensuke, what's like a good bar, have another drink, maybe another little snack at. Nice pub, Izakaya. Izakaya Matsuya is the name. And as you can see by how built up it is. I am in Umeda.
Right when you walk in, you can smell meat grilling and a hint of cigarette smoke. This was about 7:15 on a Wednesday night, so the pub wasn't super packed. I think most of the guests were regulars. There were two men sitting to my left the whole time, seemed to be work buddies, older guys, 50s, 60s. Listening to them was fascinating, even though I couldn't really follow the conversation. The Japanese they spoke was so real, so casual, with so much slang, and the Kansai dialect on top of it. One of the best experiences in the trip so far. I had an Asahi to start. It's beer, it's cheap. Then my yakitori, or grilled chicken, came. From left to right, it was chicken gizzards, probably, oddly crunchy. Chicken skin, rich and delicious. Chicken thigh, lean but wonderful. Chicken hearts, very meaty. And chicken meatballs, very soft with the strong green onion flavor. And all of it was glazed with a meaty sweet soy sauce. Fantastic for about $4. Then I had my first highball ever, a Suntory highball. It was a little stronger than I'd expected.
Come by, please. Oh, that's a whiskey highball. Nice.
With all that finished, I made the excellent decision that I needed another beer. One practical note before we go. In less modern and less popular locations, this might be the toilet style you'll be working with.
Alright guys, so next we're going to this place called Hisa.
Funnily enough, I have an online buddy named Hisa, so I had to go and see how his restaurant is.
First floor.
Izakaya Hisa is known for its kushikatsu, or fried skewers. I got the 10-piece omakase set, or chef's choice set. There were shrimp, sausage, lotus root, rice dumplings, asparagus, and a few more I can't remember. All of them were really good. The crust was rich, crispy, and not greasy at all. You eat all the skewers with this sweet soy sauce that's kept on the table. No double dipping.
Okay guys, Izakaya Hisa deshita. So umakata. It was really, really good. I wasn't so sure because when I walked in, there was no one else in there. And they had the deep fryers weren't going. I don't even think they have deep fryers in there. I think they just have pots of oil. And it took a while for them to heat them up and stuff, but wow, that kushikatsu was really, really good. The beer was great as well. I mean, how can you mess up beer? But yeah, definitely recommend. It's worth the walk. It's on a cool sort of Yokocho side street. That was cool. Recommend.
After this, I started heading west in the direction of the train station. I happened to wander into Amerika-Mura, or America Village, the hip and youthful neighborhood west of Shinsaibashi, away from the chaos and high prices of Dotonbori. The area was originally just a mundane industrial district, but by the 70s and 80s, it had become a place for young people to socialize, well known in all of Japan. The name America Village came about because clothes from Hawaii and the west coast of America were popular with the young people who visited the area. This area peaked in the 90s before losing clout to other districts, but there's still a lot here to enjoy. Here are a bunch of random photos I took on my walk. I'd love to come back here when I have more time to explore Osaka, especially in the daytime when the closed shops and cafes are open. This is the Big Step Mall, built in 1993. It has stores, restaurants, a gym, cinema, and music venues. Why is this fruit so expensive? Well, fruit in Japan tends to be expensive because a lot of it's imported, but this fruit is very expensive and intended to be given as a gift. Giving food as a gift or souvenir is common in Japan. At the center of Amemura is the famous Sankaku Koen, or Triangle Park. This is just after 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night, so it wasn't super crowded, but there were a bunch of people chilling, smoking cigarettes, sipping drinks, and enjoying the warm weather. I would love to live or work nearby so that I could decompress and meet people here regularly. After seeing the centerpiece of Amerika-Mura, it was time to stumble on home. Thanks for watching day 4 of my 2-week vacation in Japan. If you liked it, help me with the algorithm by hitting thumbs up. If you hated it, tell me why in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe, and day 5 is coming up real soon.